Why does it keep freezing on that specific frame with the Fiat 600? What the frick? Oh, never mind. Now it's going again. That's weird. Anyway, hello to everyone joining the stream. Make mod airport. Yeah, thank you, Night Chat. Gran Turismo 2 make mod airport. You know what? Sure, I will make mod airport. Let's just close a bunch of these tabs that I don't really need. And, who pinged me? Alright. Oh, yeah. So, hello everyone joining the stream. Thank y'all so much for the recent support on the Gran Turismo 2 A-Spec video, especially, and just in general the mod itself. Very happy to see this many people interested in it, and I hope we will be able to deliver on it eventually when we do make and release the mod. Thank y'all so much. And because of this, a lot of people have been asking me, Nathan, how do you make Gran Turismo 2 mods? And usually I answer them saying it's very complicated to explain in Discord, and so that's why I've decided to make... I can't wait for the day Mr. Beast commits internet pirate. Okay, alright then. So, let's get into it. So first of all, if you have seen the stream's description, you have probably seen the description, which has a bunch of links to some programs. You're going to need all of these in order to do your stuff. So Blender. First of all, Blender, this is where you're going to edit your models. Now you can just go to blender.org and download the most recent version. Next up, we have PaintShop Pro 7, which is what you're going to use for your textures. Now, yes, this guy, very reliable, of course, so yes. 7-zip, you'll need this to extract and eventually repack a lot of files. Just download this one. GT2 Vol Tools, this is what you're going to need to extract GT2 specifically. Just going to want to go to Releases and then download this one. Then you have GT2 Car Viewer, which will download automatically via this. This is where you're going to use to view your cars, some models, of course. It's pretty self-explanatory, the name, honestly. And you have GT2 Car Model Tools, which is safe. And it is what you're going to use to basically do everything. Hello everyone. PaintShop Studio 7 better than PaintShop Studio 5, maybe. Yes, these are all the files that you're going to need. And so let's just get into it from the perspective of someone who has just downloaded Gran Turismo 2, as you can see it right here on my desktop. So first of all, I already have a lot of the programs, but I am going to get a few of them just fresh, simply so you can view how they work. Let's see here. Just going to move those two onto your desktop. And the most important one is the GT2 Vol Tools, which I am going to actually download again. GT2 Vol Tools. Right here, Releases, zip, download. As you can see, I've already downloaded it. Move it to your desktop and just unpack it. Now this is the folder you'll be greeted to, which we're just going to move over here. You will see a bunch of programs, but the one you're going to need is gtvoltool.gui.exe. Now just run anyway because PC is a pussy, and you will see the vol file and the directory. Now what you're going to need to do is, if you have Ultra ISO, if you do not have Ultra ISO, do download it, but if you do, just open the bin, and you should see a bunch of files. Now, none of these are important except for this one, gt2.vol. So just going to want to drag and drop it onto your desktop again. and then you'll have this. So first of all, you're going to want to browse vol. This is my GT2 folder. Just going to go to this one right here, browse vol, and you're going to browse directory. Now for this, I'd say make a new folder, which would just be GT2 extract. I cannot spell. There you go, GT2 extract. And just put it in that folder right here, GT2 extract. Okay, and then explode GT2 Volta directory. I'd also say to tick this, it'll be easier in the future. And then your files will be extracting into your folder, of course. I wish there was a way to make GT2 3 and 4 car models. Yes, I agree. Is GT Concept just GT 3.5? Yes, actually kind of is, yeah. This might go on. Oh, there we go. It's finished. And then you should see a lot of files in your folder. Now, the ones that we're going to be usually using are the car OBJ files. Now, you should see a decomp folder as well, which is a lot easier to access. So you won't have to 7-zip all of them. But now we go on to the next step, which is the GT2 car viewer step. So 7-zip, extract files, bring it to your desktop, bring it over here, GT2 car viewer. You just want to run a CXC, and then you get the menu. Now you're going to want to navigate to your GT2 extracted, and go inside your car OBJ, click on this folder specifically, not the decomp, and click OK. Wait a bit, and there you go. You will have all of the cars from Gran Turismo 2 extracted onto your computer and viewable via a program. Oh, that's actually interesting. I never noticed that the Cosmo has like its wings still up there. It still has the vertices, just not seen. That's funny. There's a bunch of options you can tick here. You can untick texture transparent to see stuff like this, and to see how GT2 handles some stuff like wheel wells, and for some other cars, stuff like, let's see here, oh yeah, like logos, taillights, stuff like that. Now, there's also show hide UV map, which is on texture, and show hide edges, which is on the model itself. Now, this is all just fine and good. You can explore this as long as you want, but we're going to be finding a car that we can use for our mod. Now, let's say we'll just grab something like, I don't know, the Mazda RX-7 LN. Right? It's the first on the list. We can get that. So, we remember this ID on the top left, A-A7R. Then we go back to our desktop, back to our extracted GT2. Go to decomp, and then we look until we find A-A7R. Which should be right here. There we go. Now there's a bunch of files. The CDO is the object for the day model. The CDP is the texture for the day model. The CNO is the model, is the night model's object, and the CNP is the night model's texture. Now for this, we're basically only going to need the day ones, so copy these, then go to, actually no, never mind, you will have to extract the car model tools folder. Extract files. There we go. Now, here you will have a bunch of things. Now let me explain them one by one. So these are all bat files, which you will have to drag and drop your CDOs and or CDPs onto. First of all, we have make OBJ, which if you drag and drop your CDO onto, will, well, make an OBJ, but also an MTL and a bin. The OBJ stores the models, the UVs, the shading, etc. The MTL stores the textures, the palettes, and the bin is actually much more important than what your 1 kilobyte might assume, because it contains the wheel positions and at what distance LODs appear. Now, if you want to, you can just drag and drop this onto make CDO. Then wow, you'll have a brand new CDO. That's how to mod GT2. Nah, I'm just kidding. So the CDP has two functions right here: to editable, which is how you're going to edit your texture, and dump, which is for viewing your car's model textures in Blender. As you can see, right here. Now, let's open up Blender. Delete all the default objects and import OBJ Legacy. Remember OBJ Legacy. Now you're going to want to go to your desktop, to your GT2 car model tools, and before you import anything, you're going to want to open this geometry tab, and you're going to want to switch split to object to split by group. This is so that your car won't become a jumbled mess. Now you import OBJ. And yeah, it might seem a bit overwhelming at first, but don't worry, it's pretty simple actually. This right here, LOD 0, this is the main LOD you're going to see in game when you're driving the car and when the AI is very close to you, as well as in the garage. Then you have LOD 1, which is usually only seen when the AI is, well, it's a bit close to you, but not really all that close. And then LOD 2 is the funny one, which you're barely going to see in game when the AI is very far away from you. You also have the shadow, which is basically not even necessary to edit usually. And the wheel positions, which, if you can see, they're right in the middle of the wheel wells. You can edit these if you want. Now, let's say we want to add a cube. This will be our GT2 car. Add mesh cube. There you go. This is actually brilliant. It's actually a car from the 80s. Now, if we want to make this our GT2 car, then what we have to do is we have to Control select both of these, and then Control J. That'll make sure that it is one file. Do not rename any of these files. That'll mess up everything. And now we can simply delete the RX-7 A-Spec LM. There might be a bit of loose geometry still, but you can delete that as well. As of right now, this will work in game. I am not joking you, this will work in game. You will just have a drivable cube. However, if you want to, let's say, change one face of the cube to be something else, then you have to stick along. Now they're all using one material, which is the untextured order 16 flag 0. Untextured being, well, completely fully black. Order meaning, well, technically, it's pretty difficult to explain order. It's basically the lower the number, let's say 16 versus 23, this will mean that 23 will appear behind 16. So let's say we add say we duplicate this cube and remove it, we make it a bit smaller. We have it like this. If this cube, this bigger cube, is order 23, and this is 16, then this cube will appear as if it is cutting through. If this is 23, And if this is 16, then this will engulf the cube, making it non-visible. It is basically a hierarchy of what appears before what. Now we can delete the smaller cube, of course. It was only for demonstrational purposes. Now let's say we want to give one face of this cube a different material. Let's say palette 8. There you go. Now you're going to want to go to the UV editing tab if you want to edit anything. And this is actually the palette for the taillights. So let's just say this face is one massive taillight. There you go. That's a taillight if I've ever seen one. Now once again, this will in fact work in-game. So, you know what? I think this is good enough. We will export the OBJ legacy. And we have a bunch of boxes to tick again. Objects as OBJ groups. You're going to want to get this geometry tab. Remove apply modifiers and apply keep vertex order. Now you're just going to want to go back to your GT2 car model tool folder and export OBJ. Now when you're here, drag and drop this on the makecdo.bat, and oh dear, it seems we have gotten an error, one of many. Face does not contain exactly 3 or 4 vertices. Yes, something to keep in mind when you're making your model is to not include n-gons. So select all by trait, faces by sides, greater than 4, and there seems to be nothing at the moment, so let's see what else it could be. Maybe it's lot 1. Let's see. Ah, yes, it is actually lot 1. As you can see, this has 5 vertices. So, let's get the knife tool, apply, and you're done. Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're making your GT2 mod is to always check the UVs. If a UV goes beyond the boundaries of the image, then it will not work. So just make sure to put everything into its place before you export. Now let's export again. Then make CDO, and it worked. So now you have your fresh CDO with a cube. Now, just going to want to right click, show more options if you're on Windows 11, and go to 7-zip, and then add to archive. Now once you do, you will probably see a menu similar to this, with a 7-zip thing. This is not correct. Go to archive format, and click on gzip. You'll see the file name .cdo.gzip at the end, which is correct. Hit OK, and you will have your freshly made model. Just Control-C this. Go to your GT2 extracted, and then just paste it in your car OBJ. Let's see how it worked. And there you go. There's your cube with a taillight texture on it. But what if I don't want a taillight texture? What if I want this color scheme, but what if I, let's say, want to make the taillight blue? I'm just saying stuff at this point, but it's good practice. Then, you're going to want to go to your GT2 car model tools folder, and then go to your editable texture. Now this BMP file, you'll have to open it with PaintShop Pro 7, which you have hopefully set up already. You should get a screen like this. Just wait for it to go on. As you can see, I'm on day 189 of my 30-day evaluation period. Don't worry, this will never expire. The IRS won't come to your house unless you've done other acts. Just start and maximize this image. Now, please familiarize yourself with this UI. You'll be using it a lot. I've used it a lot over the past years. I can probably dream about it. If you're going to want to edit something, a palette, then you're going to want to go to colors and then load palette. Now, before you load anything, make sure that this selects maintain indexes. This is very important, otherwise it will mess up your entire texture. Now go to your car model tools, the color you want, and then the palette we used for the taillights, which is palette 8. And there you can see, that is it. Select this tool, paintbrush, to, well, just do anything. You can make a lot of stuff on this thing. You can even draw a penis if you want. However, phallic shapes are not necessary on this texture because we will be making the taillights blue. So let's do that. You're going to want to go to colors, edit palette, and then you can dropper to see which colors these are. Let's just edit this one for simplicity. And then just do, well, whatever you want, to be honest. It is a fine art to find out a lot of this stuff. As you can see, I'm doing this very quickly and very messily, but don't worry. This is only for showcase purposes. Now, once you are done with that, you're going to want to go to colors, then click save palette, and then save to the palette you were editing, which in this case is palette 8. Confirm, then load palette to palette 0. This is the wheel palette. This is the one that is on the BMP, and then save the texture. Now that you're done with that, you will drag and drop this on the 2CDP bat, and then do the same archiving stuff as with the CDO. Let's go to gzip, add to archive, and then press OK. And you should have a correct cdp.gzip. Now go back to your extracted GT2, go to car OBJ, paste it in, replace the file, and let's see our result. And there you go. There's your edited texture on your edited model. And now, let's put it back in the game. It's the final thing we'll have to do is you're going to want to go back to GT2 Vol Tools, go to GT Vol 2 GUI, and then browse your vol that you extracted. You're going to want to use this, browse directory, you're going to want to go to your GT2 extract again, but instead of exploding, you're going to want to make GT2 vol from directory. Now usually this takes longer, but in this case it was very short. So you're going to want to close this. And before you do anything with the bin itself, you're going to want to make a copy, which we'll just call, let's say, modding test. Then you're going to want to use this file, ISO file replace. Just start it up anyway. Windows really hates me at this moment, and then you're going to want to find your ISO/bin, which is on your desktop. It is modding test.bin. Select new file. You're going to want to select the vol. And replace this file, you're just going to want to type all caps gt2.vol and then go. And you're done. Test it in your emulator of preference, in my case DuckStation, and let's hope, pray, and pray again that it will work. This takes a while, don't worry. Modding test.bin. And let's see it happen. Go to East City. Go to your edited Mazda, and the moment of truth. Not yet. Moment of truth. Not yet. Moment of truth. There you go. There's your edited GT2 car in game, functioning. You can also, of course, change the color, which, seeing as we did not edit the palette for the purple color option, will appear with the normal taillights. So let's buy our car. Let's just enter a race, Clubman Cup. Now, I usually use test run for this. And it is beautiful. I'm so done. Although it might look a bit goofy, it is all for testing purposes, of course. You can make whatever you want, and this is not a tutorial on how to make something good. It is just a tutorial on how to make something. As Blender tutorials and image editing tutorials are pretty readily available on YouTube, however, this is not. And now, I'm going to be asking y'all's questions that you have maybe asked in the livestream chat. Let's see. I'm more surprised this is in a video instead of a live stream. Yeah, the thing is, I did this because it is easier and doesn't take as much time, and people can ask questions if they have them. That engine sound for the Peugeot 905 needs to be fixed because it sounds like a UFO. Yes, it will be fixed, don't worry. Can you mod GT5 like this? I'm sure you probably can, although not with car models as far as I know. I wish there was a GT2 track maker. I do too. Sadly, there isn't. And that seems to be it. I think that's it. I think that's our mod made in GT2, unless y'all really have questions still to answer that have to be answered, then I am pretty much finished here. It was great, thanks. Yeah, I also wish that Gran Turismo 3 and Gran Turismo 4 had car model editors. I wish.